item on the refuse dumps. As you know, we have had a challenge around illegal dumps, and we need to clear. The residents are up in arms with the issue of illegal dumps, the issue of litter and rubbish in their neighborhoods. So we need a quick report on what progress we are doing on that issue.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I'm standing in on behalf of the Director of Works. He's not feeling so well today, so allow me to present on the status of the dump clearance. The city rolled out a schedule for dump clearances. The city is aware of the number of dump clearances, which are estimated to be a minimum of 515 mapped refuse dumps. This was as at the end of the year. However, we can, due to the recurrences and some new dumps, we can estimate that we are around 750 refuse dumps in the city as we speak. So it means that each and every ward is greatly affected. The refuse dumps have been mainly due to challenged adherence to the normal refuse collection schedule due to a number of factors. So as we speak today, we have had challenges in whereby we had to revise the schedule of the dump clearance, which is ward-based. For now, we are working with the ward-based refuse dump clearance schedule, which we revised on the 29th of May 2022 after receipt of 5 brand new tippers, the HR tipper trucks. As we are all aware, at times the consistency in the implementation of this program was hindered due to non-consistent availability of refuse dump removal equipment in the Amenities Division, Department of Works. So as of today, the 2nd of June, we have managed to tackle 11 wards as we speak today, and the 12th ward is in progress, which is Ward 43 as we speak today. In terms of the magnitude of the exercise, in Ward 35, we had to work on one refuse dump, and we did around 20 loads of 15 cubic meter capacity of tippers. So you can understand, we only had to manage that one area in that ward. So it really reveals the extent or the magnitude of the effort the city has to execute to ensure that we clear on the refuse dumps. The major challenges in terms of the progress we are making with the refuse dump clearance is that the tipper trucks are being serviced by relatively aged front-end loaders. So one of our equipment is on breakdown as you speak. So it is also affecting the effectiveness or the efficiency of the collection. The second issue is the non-availability of a nearby refuse disposal point. We are dependent on Pomona, which is quite distant from the west or the longest suburb, which I can say Highfield, Glenora, and Farcos and the likes. So also the traveling time is also affecting the effectiveness in terms of our dump clearances. And then there are situations whereby we had to reserve the CBD and Mbare, that is mainly on Saturday and Sunday. This was meant to ensure that at least we cover as much ground in the respective wards. As a city, our priority is mainly CBD and Mbare, since they are high business activity areas. So as we might be walking the city or traveling in the city, we might see points like Market Square, Copacabana. They are also heavily affected. So we are also working internally to ensure that we augment the plant and equipment required to ensure that we are effective and efficient in terms of our dump clearances. Maybe I might hasten to say that we are also anticipating delivery of more tippers to augment the exercise. We also been relying heavily on the roads division in the Department of Works to ensure that at times we are also able to meet our target as per plan we have rolled out to the residents. So I think, I hope I've managed to summarize. So in terms of success rate as a percentage, on the 10 areas we've done, we were hoping to target around 3 to 4 dumps, but we've been targeting, we have been actually managing 1 dump due to the complexity or the magnitude of the waste. So our success rate has been fair. I can put it around 50%. So we hope to improve as we go and as we also receive planting from the city. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm starting from this side, coming to
thank you, Your Worship.
my left to
I understand that there's a schedule that is circulating on the clearance of dumps. Whilst we take serious cognizance that failure to collect refuse means that we are exposing citizens into a situation which is hazardous in terms of health. So when I look at it, for example, on the schedule mentioned, in Highlands, we are scheduled for dump clearance in August from now. It shows that there is no urgency according to the schedule that was produced. To me, the schedule is not meaning anything to the citizens of my ward and other citizens of Harare. So I think there is need to revise that particular schedule and consider it as a matter of urgency when we talk about dump clearing for the health and betterment of our communities. I think that's my submission to it. And secondly, we have made a decision long back ago in terms of citing waste selection centers so that refuse can be picked by residents. They place them at waste selection centers where it is not dumped anywhere. But right now, I don't know the progress about it. People are dumping even at our offices, they are dumping at clinics, which is increasing the hazards in terms of health and the poor environment in our society. So I think there is something that is needed there. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm a bit concerned with this report because the report is not addressing urgent issues that we are currently facing as a city. It's more like it's a narration of the problems which we are currently facing as a city. But the solution side on how to deal with refuse collection, still waiting. I wanted me to listen. The solution side on how to deal with refuse collection. I don't know if anyone ever heard if there's any solution. It seems it's more like it's the usual talk show. And as councillor for what is CCC Councillors, I am not prepared to leave this house with the other excuse to my residents. I want to leave this house with a solution. So we're supposed to come up with a solution. I understand, Amapunza Moy, in your report, the solution side, they started nothing. Remember, in our last previous council meeting, what we have agreed? We have agreed that we should ring fence money that is being collected through refuse collection. An example is that in my ward, I have nearly 14,000 households, and they are charging each household equivalent to 11 US. Multiplying 11 US by 14,000, we are talking of almost 150,000 USD. The money which is almost enough to purchase a refuse collection truck. I understand that not all residents are paying rents. Maybe the percentage in terms of paying is around 40% or 50% from the information which I received from the revenue office. But it's still that 80,000 can actually go a long way in assisting refuse collection in my ward. There is no progress report from that resolution that we made 2 months ago. It was totally ignored. Again, we have also heard there are some trucks that have been purchased. Again, there is no report. We are sitting here as an official council business. There is no official report from your report. How many tipper trucks have been delivered? How many were purchased? How many refuse compactors were purchased? How many were delivered? From your report, there is nothing. While this is a special council meeting to deal with the refuse collection. You also said in your report that we also have a challenge of Pomona. The distance from Greenville to Pomona obviously is not making economic sense. But it is also the same council again, which actually came up with a ban in the previous next report discussion. Pomona. You could take a banaji, kugaza dumpsites. So taona problem with dumpsites that is really cool, but at the same time, to sign up with my agreement, could as a city for 30 years, I couldn't be the within Kuframe dump. Area problem at Namchi. So I'm saying this is part of solution to what we are discussing here. So maybe Tony Clegg can also help so that as we debate further, are we reducing my council of business as my talk show as a solution? Because the time period report and on Panam, I see detailed to answer the crisis that in the refuse collection. Thank you.
Questions are enough? Or... Okay, so let me, with the 3 sets of questions, let me get them to answer. Then the CC will start and then we will give you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Maybe let me address the issue as raised by Councillor Pamaonde, then maybe the details can come. I'm sorry, Councillor Gatslo. Yeah. All right. So the issue of ring fencing that was discussed in the special council meeting last time. I think that issue still has to go to the finance committee, and we're looking at transferring a report in that regard to seek authority of the finance committee. So this is a work in progress. Maybe Director of Works didn't mention the equipment that has been bought. Yes, we have received 4 tipper trucks, but at the other special council meeting, the Director of Works also indicated the number of equipment that is on the way. We have equipment which is likely to be ready by tomorrow, which is about 3 compactors, and other equipment are in various stages of payment. And our main problem right now is sourcing of forex. I think Director of Works will give us a breakdown of the equipment that has been approved for payment and that is waiting delivery. Some of the equipment is still in South Africa. Then the issue of solution. I think also the Director of Works in the last special council meeting mentioned the solutions that we are trying to implement, and work is currently in progress to implement those projects. Basically what it is that we're changing our strategy of waste collection, whereby, as you rightly mentioned, that our dump site is very far away. The change in strategy means that what we're going to do now take the compactors that do the door-to-door collections, but what separating collection and transportation. What it means that the door-to-door collection will be done by the compactors, and the compactors are going to dump at a transfer station where we have heavy vehicles, 30-ton trucks, to be now transporting the refuse to the dump site. And then that will give us in more time, cycle time within the residential area. Because right now, a compactor is doing 2 trips per day. Because the other 4 hours, it is spending on the road from Bugililo to. So if we have the containers that are going to be transporting to, it means that we might be able to do up to 5 collections. I mean, for the equivalent of 5 trips that we are doing. Where we are doing two trips, we're going to be collecting 5. So that is part of the change of strategy. I think maybe you can also elaborate on that. And that also means that we are building transfer stations where the smaller trucks are going to come and dump into the bigger trucks. And I think you can give us progress on the 2 transfer stations that we are currently working on. Then I think I just wanted to touch on the solution part of it, and also address Councillor Chalumbira's concerns that the schedule is too far for you, but I think the schedule is adjustable. As we receive more equipment, which we think within the next six weeks or so, we should receive a significant number of pieces of equipment, and I think we can compress the times that the schedule is always going to be revised as we receive more and more equipment. But I think maybe the engineer maybe you can go through the list of equipment that we are expecting. And maybe
I'll pick it. I just wanted to answer. Sometimes the answers to your questions might be in their answers as well. So if we let them finish, so that yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. In terms of, I'll tackle the first question first in terms of priority. Like the city have highlighted that we are aware that each and every ward is equally affected. So somehow, with the way we prioritize, we were trying to say we had some areas which we had touched on before, and we're also looking at areas where we had received letters from schools and clinics, where they were saying that there has been quite a time without clearances of dumps. And then in terms of the solutions, our major challenge has been the model, like the TC has highlighted, that our model has been mainly linear and traditional. As we all can see that if you look at the time then when the model was linear, and now there's been spatial developments in the city, and there's also been densification in the city. So at times when we deploy a truck where we're handling at least one refuse bag at a household, there are now 4 to 5 families at the same place. There have been cluster developments. So those are the things which have also been affecting us. Then we also need to take cognizance of the fact that our infrastructure in terms of roads, it has also been an effect to our fleet, whereby we're experiencing a lot of suspension-related challenges. So to cater for that, we are transitioning from the linear to a more secular approach, which we are calling an integrated solid waste management approach, whereby those who have been privy to the press a month ago, we released a tender whereby we are procuring a set of equipment compatible to the new philosophy which we want to implement as a city. You would find that we are going to be having skip compactors. If you look at the traditional skip trucks, we are ferrying one bin to the dump site. With the new equipment, we are going to be emptying the skip bin, and it's going to remain at the same spot, and that equipment is going to be able to offload an average of 8 bins. So it means we should be able to service Market Square, Copacabana, maybe and Fourth with one truck against this current whereby we are only doing 3 trips. Then also in terms of the bulk haulage, we are looking at having hook loaders in the nearest future whereby we are targeting areas like Mbare, the high waste generation areas. We have Mbare, we have Msika, we have also the Mbare floods, whereby, and also we are going to put some at the transfer stations. We are going to empty our waste in these hook bins. Then the hook loader truck will also ferry this to Pomona, which is 30 tons. And then in terms of the equipment to which we have received, the city had to urgently procure 5 tipper trucks, which are the ECHA, which we are currently using to manage the refuse dumps. Then the trucks which are on order and contract, we have 10 tipper trucks. Of the 10, 3 were paid, and in the next 6 weeks we are hoping to receive them. And then we have also 5 tipper trucks, 20 cubic meters from the same contractor. 3 were also paid, and they are also still in South Africa. We are hoping that in the next 6 weeks we should also be able to receive them. Then from a different contractor, we had also 5 refuse compactors. 3 of them were paid, and then we received them. Training was done. I think these are the ones which the TC has highlighted that we should be receiving them today or tomorrow for deployment in the nearest future. And then also we have a front-end loader, we have an excavator, we have 5 excavators and 1 grader, which we are hoping to receive again in the, maybe these ones I can say maybe in the next 8 weeks we should be able to receive them. So we believe with this equipment, and also we are also making structural alignments within the city, whereby we are looking at, we now have a resident procurement expediter, which we believe as a city, it has really seen an improvement in our operation, although the impact is not yet felt, but internally we are seeing something. Then we are also working towards having a team with, which would include an accountant, because we've seen that the gap, our administrative gap was also playing a huge impact in terms of our delivery of the service. So in terms of solution, I have to close to say our major challenge was the model which we were using, which was purely linear. So as you are aware, when we had the fire sometime in August 2020, we could not dispose. So those are also some of the issues which we want to address with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have the answer. Probably we have answered some of the questions because we want to move on. Yes, and then we are now Rampamonde and who's behind? You are behind the cameras. Okay.
Well, thank you, Your Worship.
Yes.
In the report, the major problem in waste management is not general. I understand what you're saying, but I want to profile a solution that might be a game changer in this waste management scenario. In the previous council, we have discussed about the adoption of trucks per ward, the compactors per ward. We would also want you to get into detail on how far you are on that, and how far the compactors that are available at the moment, whether dead or working, they can help us so that we adopt them as a ward. I have people in my ward who are ready to adopt a compactor. Then you failed to articulate. I thought that you said the linear, what is the problem? Waste management is now a business. So since it is a business, I was expecting you from the engineer to give us, in your report, issues to do with how to manage waste from the household level before we get them to be carried by our trucks. So I expected you to get deeper into the 2-bin system or 3-bin system per household, so that each and every household can be in a position to separate waste from the household level, so that the majority of the waste can be disposed at household level. It can be sold for waste management to waste management companies. It's part and parcel of the solution that I would also want the house to adopt, so that the engineer can carry a research on that and how we can embark on a distribution of 2 bins or 3 bins per household. We encourage or teach each and every household to separate waste at household level, so that our vehicles or our waste management system is not overwhelmed. Then last but not least, Yes, I understand that you've got transfer centers, but you do understand that in the Western region, you might have 1 or 2 transfer centers. Why don't you have a scenario of creating what I term in quotes, community dump sites, whereby the compactor can carry the waste within my ward and dump them at a certain point, so that when the tipper trucks comes, they just remove that waste that has already been separated from that dump site to the main center, whatever you want to call it, whether it's Pomona or wherever you are going to create another. Then in conclusion, why don't you have a western side dump site specifically for the western side, so that we can be economically friendly and save money for the city and channel it to other developmental projects within the city? Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, Councillor Pomona.
Your Worship. So anyway, in any case,
So after you, it's your lookalike.
yeah, so I will not say much, Your Worship, because what I also wanted to say has been spoken already by Councillor Duma, which is relating to the trucks. Remember, there was a visit to the workshop, and councillors saw that whole array of trucks which are there. There are various forms in terms of functionality, and we also expected now the detail insofar as the milestone covered in repairing and recovering those trucks, those which had minor problems could have been fixed by now. We could have started seeing them working, because that is where we are supposed to focus so much to create sustainable refuse collection from the household. If we fail on that one, it will continue to create a situation where people will continue to dump waste and have dump sites at the end of the day, which we don't want. So as soon as we are able to clear these dump sites, what is more important is to have a sustainable collection schedule as suggested, so that we move on with this health for all to our citizens in Harare. So that breakdown, worship, is very important, so that we can see how far are we from creating or achieving sustainable refuse collection from our household. On that note, Your Worship, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship. Zvanaida kutaura zvimwe zvataurwa, but ndanichifungidzira kuti ma-officials, either town clerk or director of works, vatipe detail rekuti chiri kuita kuti ma-refuse compactors asamuka chii. Inyaya dzekuti vanobhadhara vari kuramba kubhadhara here? Inyaya dzekuti vari kugadzira ndo vari kutadza kugadzira here dzimotikari? Inyaya yekuti ma-spare parts haasi kuwanikwa munyika here? Last year, Your Worship, takaita a tour ku-automotive workshop. Taenda ikoko, takawana kune refuse compactor yainzi yanga yapinda muna January 2019 ku-workshop. Yapinda ne-problem yedhifi, but yanga yakasimuka mavhiri ese isina mavhiri. Yakagujunurwa. So ma-residents anenge aida kutakurirwa marara, ende marara akawanda. So toda detail rekuti chiri kumboita kuti mota dzisamuka chii. Ndaifungidzira kuti decentralization yaifanira kudzoka, Your Worship. Each motor, each refuse compactor igare pawadi rayo, yagara pawadi rayo. Mari iya ye-ward retention fund ibva yadzoka kuma-wards. Kana mota yaita problem, igadzirirwe pawadi ipapo, poiswawo makanika anenge achiatenda. Even maresidents vanokwanisa kuita chip in council painenge yakaremerwa. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Worship. Chekutanga, it's a question to Town Clerk. I just need you to explain to this Honorable House, where exactly do you take your mandate to deliver your duty? Why am I asking this question? A few days ago, the people that were on my ward doing dump clearance, all of a sudden, just because whosoever was going to do whatever he's doing in the other one, all those trucks, they've left my ward without finishing the duty that they were supposed to do. Now my question is, in government, there is a Minister of Roads. Why do they not fix it for their president when he needs to go there? There is a Minister of Environment. Why do they not clean the area for their executive person so that they cannot disturb my business for the people who voted for me? So I'm appealing on that. The Muguti issue, you must not take the orders very much than from this house. Then another question is, one day of dump clearance in each and every ward is not enough, Your Worship. Why am I saying so? You would find you get some are very big dams, are mountains. Once you open them, you have exposed, I don't know what we call it, but you left the day without completing that dam. What did we do? We did nothing. Second, it's an issue about my fellow Councillor Denford said about what are the solutions. Yes, we are removing dams today, but tomorrow there is no compactor truck that is coming to pick that rubbish in the area. So please, let's resolve on that matter of compactors as a matter of emergency so that we can handle the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, I think that will be the last round of this issue so that we are able to move on. We can then summarize what are the concerns. I think the department we are hearing the concerns of the councillors, which is basically what the residents are complaining about. Yes.
Thank you, Your Worship. Firstly, I would like to appreciate the effort from this Department of Refuse, since he's presenting closer to me, so that you continue working hard. Then my proposal is, during this process of clearing dams in our various wards, I think they're supposed to spend the whole day in a certain ward which they propose to clear on that day. I'm giving a very good example in my ward. In their paper, they have already ticked that we collected refuse, we cleared dams in Ward 13, but they just clear partially. I represent Southampton, Lochinvar, and Rugare, but they just clear partially in Rugare. They didn't go to Southampton, they didn't go to Lochinvar. So my suggestion is, they're supposed to spend the whole day. It's either in Kuanzana, Ward 37, or in Southampton, Ward 13, or in Glenview, or whatsoever ward. So that when they come to us presenting that we are clearing dams in a certain ones, to make sure that they mean it. Thank you.
Thank you. Quite a mouthful, so you can just quickly respond to some of the issues that take note, some of the issues need a specific response.
Thank you, Worship. I think the tax adoption per ward, we have borrowed the Residents Association whereby we are already implementing the tax adoption. They have one track already, which we are using as a pilot run, because there's already an existing memorandum of understanding with them. We managed to have a visit at the district office to see modalities that the truck should be parked there overnight, and perhaps maintenance can also be done there in line with the trajectory for decentralization. I think in the issue of not coming to a word, it being not enough, yes, the city acknowledges that. But for the city to be effective, at some point, the Director of Works and the TC submitted a budget for hiring, which was hefty, and the Honorable House declined that budget for us to hire, to be able to clear the refuse dumps in the city. And the TC also took it upon himself to ensure that at least there was urgent procurement of the tipper trucks, the 5 which we are talking about. It's not enough, and we are aware of the milestone task which we need to work on as a city. Like we've alluded previously, the more we receive the equipment, mainly the tipper trucks are the ones which we have prioritized so that we are able to clear the dumps. And then also, as we receive the new equipment compatible to the new philosophy, I'm sure and confident that there's going to be an improvement in the issues of waste management. Indeed, sustainability is an issue which we are also working very hard as a city to ensure that it is there. There's no point to clear a dump in the next few weeks, it is resurfaced. So with this one, we'll work on it, and then we'll advise as we go through the necessary committee, the EMC. And then more so, we are recapitalizing in line with the decentralization like the TC is alluding. So the waste management division is also in a recapitalization mode so that we are able to service the city effectively. Most of our trucks are almost an average 10 years old, mainly the Isuzu trucks, and we have also engaged with FAO, which were the suppliers of the reasonably new fleet. And then we are hoping from the relationship after the engagement, we are going to also see an improvement in the availability of the same truck. And then in terms of repairs, from the last meeting we had 5 refuse compactors. Today we report that we have 10 out of 30. However, more have been released to duty, but the breakdowns mainly, some from, like I said, the infrastructure. We are battling with suspension-related challenges. We are all aware the main road, the Alps, which we use to, which is our main route to Pomona. So we have since also resorted to change the route so that at least we save on the suspension challenges. Your Worship, all the other issues we have taken note. I think we request to report them in the next EMC meeting.
Thank you very much. I think, thank you, Engineer, for that report. I can't emphasize issues of refuse collection more than what my fellow councillors have done. I think this is an urgent issue. It is not rocket science. We can't be discussing, you are engineers. We can't be discussing refuse collection at such a rudimentary level in this day and age. It's very embarrassing. What we need to do is some of these things should be automatic. We should know these are scientific issues. How many trucks you need per day, how many tipper trucks, and so forth. I'm more persuaded that we need to buy our equipment. This hiring business has problems, not only unending investigations, allegations of corruption, tender issues, and as it will come out in the next topic, it's always a problem when we try to deal with the outside world. They think that the council is there for them to steal from. They don't understand that they are part and parcel of the community that should care about the council. So every time we say we want to hire, we run into serious problems. But if we are able to buy this equipment and make it work at clockwork, and then we need to accelerate the decentralization model. An ambulance at a district, a truck at a district, a tipper truck at a district, a compactor, a police truck, everything must be at district level. So I think, Town Clerk, the decentralization model must be accelerated. And this year there is the limitation. So it will help us in the right sizing of wards, okay? And that is one thing that you should also pay attention to. I understand there's been communication from local government about the limitation. We need to reduce our wards and our districts into manageable issues. The Constitution says the wards must be of equal size, okay? So if we reduce that, we are able at least to manage things in a better and more scientific manner and try to marry our political boundaries with our administrative districts so that they move in tandem. So that process must be done. Consultations must be done very quickly. They need to be done before the 7th of June. I understand the residents. And then we have also areas that want to be in Harare, which we are providing services for. We are providing services for Mount Pleasant Heights, Caledonia, White Cliff, all over. Everyone wants to be called Harare. So what we need to do is to be able to incorporate those areas into Harare, and those things must be done immediately. We must consult those residents, the ones that want to be in Harare, they do so. You ask the people who built the new parliament there, they want to live in the rural province or they want to come back to Harare, then we incorporate them properly so that we won't be told to provide services to a whole new town out there without the legal mandate, and we have overlooked, and without them being able to vote. Because I can see the roads to that parliament are facing into Harare. So we need to deal with all those things because the work is going to be more rather than less. But I digress a little bit. Let's get our work done.